One of the things that has been the hardest for me to get through on my healing journey is the fear of getting in trouble. And my concern over getting in trouble has been something that has prevented me from doing the right thing, because I have been programmed to be so afraid of the wrath of punishment that holding the truth inside of me, even though it's very painful, feels less risky than being punished by the systems that tell you and show you how you will be punished if you come out of line. And the reason that I'm going into this place is because it's important to know for what I'm about to say, which is that my husband and I went to couples therapy every single week for 2 years, and he still ended up asking me for a divorce. If couples therapy actually worked, why did that happen? Now, this is not to throw shade on therapists or therapy. I think everyone should have a therapist who understands how to actually help people. This is a conversation, however, about the ways that the systems that are meant to be keeping us safe are causing us so much harm, and then making it our fault for not trying hard enough. Okay. Now, if you know me, I am a perfectionist, working on it, recovering perfectionist, recovering overachiever, recovering people pleaser, recovering resenter, recovering grudge holder. And why that's important to know about me is because when I was in therapy, couples therapy, every single week for 2 years, when the therapist would recommend something, I took what she would say almost as gospel. I thought, here's this really brilliant woman with a PhD and all of these credentials. She must know what she's talking about. But I have seen psychiatrists date very mentally unwell girls and medicate them under the table. I have seen lawyers participating in illicit activity because they know they won't be found out because of the type of people they're running with, because of the code involved in participating in that, right? There's a safety there in that. But I think it's really important for us to recognize that just because somebody has credentials doesn't mean they actually understand how to help you. And as a matter of fact, it is these institutions that have created these helpers, which are also perpetuating the violence. After I had done my reflection during my separation, I believe that the most important thing that we can do is take accountability for ourselves, take personal responsibility, recognize who we are and the way that our presentation to the world is affecting other people, but not in a way where other people become the driver of your own bus, not in the way where other people become the reason you're driving the bus. Now, what I noticed is that when I really, started to process through what had been happening in the relationship between my husband and I realized how many violent dynamics my therapist was actually perpetuating. I realized that my therapist, my couples therapist, was causing harm because of the way that she was approaching the container of my and my husband's relationship. And because I am a professional, and because I would hope to know if I was a couples therapist, I would want to know if I was perpetuating abuse dynamics in my rooms, because that is what I do for a living, right? If I'm a couples therapist, I better understand abusive dynamics, and I better understand that somebody showing up with a black eye is not the only way abuse dynamics are perpetuated inside of relationships. So I sent my couples therapist an email and I explained to her what I had noticed as a favor. Okay, I did this emotional labor on her behalf because I thought, if you are somebody with these credentials and this access to these people's hearts in these sorts of situations, you need to know this so that you can take responsibility for the ways that you are hurting people, the ways that you are perpetuating harm. Do no harm, do no harm is the oath. And when you're doing harm, when you go into a helping profession, it's a very challenging thing to recognize that you are in fact perpetuating harm. And so what the ego does, what the mind does, is says, every other couples therapist is doing that, but not me. So when I told this couples therapist what I had noticed and these violent dynamics that I had seen, which by the way is the only way that my husband and I are able to be in relationship now, is that we have both learned how to take responsibility for violent dynamics that have been passed off in society as being normal. That's not normal. It's not normal. Like what is happening out there it's not normal. It's violent and abusive, and there's nothing wrong with the people. We're all doing it. That's the problem. We're all doing it together. And the people who are responsible for showing us how to come out of that are not aware of the dynamics that they are perpetuating. So I sent this email and I said to her, this is what I'm noticing. Like, these are some abusive dynamics that got slipped through the cracks, and I think you should be aware of them. And her response to me, thank you for your email. I don't see it that way. So you're going to tell somebody that their truth isn't real and you're a therapist? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You have a PhD, you've done research, you maintain a license, specifically and intentionally built around helping people uncover their truth and have the courage to speak that. And you have the audacity and the arrogance to tell somebody who's trying to help you become a better practitioner that their truth is not real. No wonder our people are sick. No wonder the World Health Organization is forecasting that mental illness is going to cost the world $6 trillion a year by 2030, which is only 5 years away. How are we supposed to help people if we can't hear them? How are we supposed to help people if maintaining our image as knowing everything is more important than actually listening to the song of the canary in the coal mine? People are telling us what they need, and our practitioners need to do a better job at making sure they are not perpetuating the harm that is being caused in these cycles. We have more access to more information than we have ever had. A lot of people use ChatGPT as their couples therapist because couples therapy can be harmful without understanding the power dynamics underneath that. And this is what I help people do. This is what I have been helping people do inside of their individual relationships for the last, we'll call it 2 years since I became aware of this. Up to that point, for the first 5 years, all I was doing is the same as everybody else, which is perpetuating the harmful dynamics, perpetuating the story that if you haven't healed yet, that's your own fault and your own responsibility. Perpetuating these like, oh, here's my hot take, like you should communicate better. Oh, stay in your lane. There are so many things out there that are disempowering the people who are asking for help. And if you are watching this and you are listening to this and you are a practitioner or you are a coach or you are a leader or you are a healthcare professional, you are somebody who is responsible for upholding these institutions that are making our people sick. This is your invitation to do it in a way that is not violent, that is not abusive, and does not leave you believing that this is everybody else in the world except for you. This is a call to the people who have gone into helping professions. This is a call to the helpers. They say, look to the helpers, right? It's very hard to know who's a helper these days, isn't it? This is a call to the helpers who have been confused about why their clients are not getting results, about why they're seeing the same couples inside of therapy for years and years and years who are not making any progress, why they are seeing the same patients doing the revolving door. Why is this happening? It's not because of our practitioners. It is because the systems that we have been trained in and the way that our systems disempower people and then make it their fault. But if you went into a helping profession, you went into a profession to help people. And if you don't understand what I teach, there is a very good chance that you are not actually helping people, and a very, very, very good chance that you are hurting them and making them think it's their fault. I don't have all of the answers. I don't have all of the answers about your practice and your institutions, but I do understand violence on a cellular level, and I understand peace on a cellular level, and I understand what is happening out there that is preventing our people from being healthy and happy and connected and feeling like they belong, and not laying awake at night feeling like they're gonna crawl out of their skin because they're so unsupported, and the people who are meant to be helping them are wagging their finger and saying they're doing it wrong. It is time for a new paradigm. It is time for our helpers to actually step up and start helping people instead of trapping people inside of a model that keeps them coming back for help over and over because it is making them sick. Capitalism is not wrong, but perpetuating business models that keep people sick so that they have to keep paying you, that is wrong. That is violent. That is exploitation. We deserve better. Our people do not trust healthcare. Our people do not trust therapy. Our people do not trust the government. And how can we blame them? Because the people who we have been taught to trust are not trustworthy. If you are a leader, if you are a parent, if you are a healthcare provider, if you are a therapist, if you are a coach, you need to understand what you are doing, and you need to understand what is hurting people so that you can look at your own systems and make sure your own systems are, as a matter of fact, aligned with the frequency of peace and not aligned with the frequency of self-sabotage and self-deprecation and blame.